1994, General Romeo Dallaire, the Canadian leader of the Peacekeepers, informs the UN, the American and the Canadian government that the Hutu majority are massacring the Tutsi minority. He is informed by his superior that genocide is not occurring, that he is merely exaggerating the situation. He is told that genocide may be occurring. Years later, General Dallaire would ask the question, what is the difference between acts of genocide and genocide? Massacre is massacre. By the end of those acts of genocide, 200,000 Tutsi men, women, and children were dead.
I'm sitting here in this empty house, and the silence just weighs on me like a stone. It surrounds me, buries me. The wife left with the kids. Can't blame her, really. I got back from Rwanda and nothing was the same, you know? I mean, that was my wife, that was my house, and those were my kids, but that wasn't me. I wasn't there anymore. Jen would ask me to talk about it. Open up to me, she used to say. Please, honey, just open up to me. I can still remember the tears in her eyes when she realized that I would never talk about it. I tried once. It was so painful, I thought I was going to break in half. How do you explain? How do you explain to your wife and kids the things that you saw? The things that you witnessed? The things you just stood there and watched? How do you explain? God help me, how do you explain? You see, they sent me to Rwanda. But I never came back. So now I sit here, looking at the walls where the pictures used to hang, and I'm listening to the fridge turn on and off. Then I'm drifting back. I'm drifting back. Rwanda, 1994. The year of blood and tears. Before that terrible year, I was a proud Canadian soldier from a family of soldiers. You know, my father and his father before him, they all served. Passchendaele, Normandy, Hill 53, Korea. The men of my family were there. So, they gave me the blue beret and said that we were going to be the keepers of the peace. God, I was so proud. I mean, me and my friends knew in our bones we were doing something right. I mean, what could be better than putting your life on the line for those who have no hope. I mean, you're the only one standing between the helpless and a pretty gruesome ending, you know? No. It's like this. You see two guys going at it, right? And it's brutal and it's bloody, and one guy is bigger and meaner than the other guy. Yeah, and that big mean guy, maybe he doesn't remember what the fight's about. But before someone gets really hurt, someone has to go in and stop it. And that was our job. I can still remember General Dallaire explaining to us our mission. We were to get in between two tribal factions, the Hutus and the Tutsis. Some of the guys made jokes about the names. Tootsie Rolls. Real funny. Actually, a friend of mine, Jerry, said, what are we doing? Separating a rumble between a bunch of munchkins? And we all laughed at that one. I mean, how deadly could a munchkin be? Sitting in this house a decade later, and I don't find it funny anymore. But the first time that I saw Rwanda, God, I fell in love with the place. This was not a country of massacre or genocide. No, this place was lush and green and beautiful. I couldn't get my head around the idea that there could be anything wrong with a place that you can stop your vehicle and pick bananas by the roadside. In other parts of Africa, there was drought and crushing poverty. Here, there were rainforests teeming with life, and this dark, rich soil that could grow anything. Anything at all, you know? In my first few weeks in patrol, I found this valley. We stopped by to talk to some of the locals, you know, told them that the UN was here and everything was going to be all right. Anyway, I stopped to get some fruit. So I stroll a few meters off the path, and there it was. A lush, green, shallow valley. It was late in the day. There was just this hint of a wispy pink and purple sunset. I sat under a banana tree and just breathed in the sweet smells around me. God, I felt wonderful. I thought that maybe after we help these people sort their country out, I could return with Jen and the kids. I just knew they'd love it. You know? 2 days later, all hell broke loose. We started getting reports that the Hutus were attacking the Tutsis. Men and teenage boys armed with machetes and shotguns were attacking people in Kigali. They would drag entire families out of their houses and literally hack them to pieces. We all wanted to do something, anything to stop the slaughter. I mean, we were peacekeepers. Damn it. Why wouldn't they let us do our job? Finally, they started to let us go on patrol so we could evacuate as many people as we could away from the killings. But one of the worst moments was when there was no more room left in that truck. You could just smell the panic. I just sat there as we drove away and watched this crowd of pathetic people chase after us. Most of them with children in their arms, one time a lady got close enough and she threw her baby in the back just before she got trampled. I didn't know what to do. I picked it up. It was so small. I couldn't imagine a world where anyone would want to harm this beautiful child. It was really hard to turn him over to the aid worker. I just wonder what his life would be like growing up in a refugee camp. A friend of mine said that I should just let it go. That you can't save the world. I just wanted to grab him. I just wanted to punch him out right there. But I realized he was right. There was nothing I could do. And the next day was worse. We got reports that there were some people holed up in a school. And as we start driving to the place, we started to see bodies by the roadside. Some were shot up. Others just looked like they were sleeping. But it was so quiet. I could hear the sounds of the jungle as we drove up to the school. I stopped the truck and I got out. The place seemed deserted. But as I walked to the front of the school, there, under this mural of happy, smiling children, was this pile of little arms and legs. I just stood there. The tears dripped down my jacket. I didn't know what to do. I got out of the room and I threw up. Jesus, they killed the kids. Why would anyone do that? What kind of father would do that to someone else's children? Just get a hold of yourself. Do your job, damn it. Right now, you can grieve later, but right now you're a peacekeeper. As we were driving back to the base, I stopped by my favorite spot. I needed to believe that there was some beauty left in this world. And as I got there, I pushed a large banana leaf out of the way, and the bottom of my world fell out. My valley. My beautiful valley was littered with hundreds of corpses. I just sat there numb. I just sat there until they drove me back to the base. Now I'm I'm sitting in this house a decade later, and I try to dream of my valley. Lush and green. But that nightmare always comes back. And I'm standing in a field of death.